Hi, and greetings once again today from our ministry here in Santa Rosa, California. Revelation 14:1, dedicated to spreading the truth, nothing less than the truth, Bible truth, the Word of God, which we find in His book, the Bible. We are very much aware of all the false teachings that Christianity is flooded with today, and we're doing our part, whatever little it may be, to help correct and help bring people back to the truth. We've been talking about Sunday this past 2 weeks, the truth about Sunday. We found out last week that the Catholic Church claims to be the author of the Sunday worship. The Bible talks about the fourth commandment right here behind me, of the Sabbath, sanctifying the seventh day of the week as the true Sabbath. But they say that it was their mark of authority over the Bible or over God, that they moved the sanctity of the day on the seventh day from the seventh to the first day of the week. Today, our topic is the significance of Sunday worship. So we found out that they claim it to be their day, the Roman Catholic Church. But what, does it really matter to us? That's what we will try and move into today, to look into the history and to conclude. We want to make sure at the bottom of our heart that this day is not just something that we can do away with or take little notice of, as some preachers want us to. Don't worry about today, as long as you worship, as long as you have faith in Jesus Christ. But does the day really matter? The significance today of Sunday worship. So we'll look into that topic today, and hopefully by the end of the day we would have learned something about this. We'll begin the fourth beast of Daniel 7. There on the screen is what the vision that Daniel is envisioning out there in Babylon. It's a leopard-like beast with 7 heads. And those heads are like the head of a lion, and the feet are the feet of the bear. And it had 10 horns. What's the significance of all these symbolic symbols that Daniel has been shown? So you see that those 3 animals we have come across somewhere. Earlier in Daniel, Daniel saw 3 beasts. The first beast came out of the sea, and it was like a lion. The second beast also came out of the sea, and it was a bear. And the third beast that came out of the sea was like unto a leopard, representing Greece. So this is the beast that we will be looking at today. leopard with 7 heads, like a lion, feet like a bear, and it had 10 horns. Daniel 7:24 describes that. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. Verse 25 says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. So Daniel 7:24 and 25 describes the horn the horns of this beast that Daniel is focusing on. That's the beast again. And these are a few of the images, different images that we will be going through today in order to assure us of the identity of this beast. The images of Daniel and Revelation. First, in Daniel 2, we have that image. Head of gold, shoulder of silver, bronze, legs of iron, and a mixture of iron and clay right down at the feet. Second vision, we have the lion, the bear, Medo-Persia, the leopard, Greece, or Alexander the Great, and the fourth beast, corresponding to Rome, is a terrible beast with 10 horns and iron claws, and it describes about its teeth as well. So these are the images. And then we have another beast in Revelation 13, right here on the far right. That beast has 7 heads, and it has 10 horns, and it came out of the waters. And also in Revelation 16, we have another beast. It was scarlet in color, red. It had 10 horns, 7 heads, but there was a woman riding this beast. And in this woman's hand is a cup filled with wine. And it describes it as the wine of fornication. So these are the images that we will go through today, just to assure us of the real identity of this beast that we are talking about. In Revelation 13, it says, and I stood upon the sand of the seas. This is John, the Revelator, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horn 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and his great authority. So this is the beast that we're talking about here. There you go. Feet of like a bear, head like of a lion, and the body like a leopard. And it had 10 horns. So that's Revelation 13, the beast of Revelation 13. In Daniel 7:7, this is what Daniel saw. After this I saw a mighty vision. I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong and exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I considered the horns. So this beast came out, and Daniel is focusing on the horns. And behold, there came up among them another little horn. Out of the 10 horns, another little horn came, 11th horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns, plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. So, Daniel 7 saw that same beast, which had 10 horns. But then another horn came out, the 11th horn, and on its way up, it took off 3, unplucked 3 of the horns. And horns is a nation or a kingdom, represents a kingdom in Bible prophecy. So this kingdom that came up, it says it was a little horn, a small kingdom, but it had power to unplug 3 of those existing kingdoms and uprooted it. So that's the vision in Daniel 7. So you see all these visions we will use to identify who this beast is. So these are the 2 visions as we see on a timeline. Daniel was back here in Babylon around 600 BC in Babylon. So he was there and he was given this vision, and this vision extended. He saw right through to the end. Remember in Daniel 2, he saw that image, head of gold, which was Babylon. He was in that kingdom right then when he saw the vision. And then after that was Medo-Persia. He was still alive and he took part in that same kingdom. And he saw right through till the end of time. Then he saw during the second kingdom here, the bear, he had another vision which took him to the 2,300 day prophecy, which took us right up to 1844. What happened in 1844? The Great Disappointment. So he was here and he was seeing the future being opened up to him right up till the end. So that's Daniel. But John came here during Jesus' time. He was a disciple of Jesus, John the Revelator. So Jesus died here in 31 AD, somewhere around there. And John was seeing this vision close to about 80, 90 AD. So his vision also started from here and went right through to the end. So from John's perspective, he was from Jesus' time towards the end. Daniel, on the other hand, was right from the time of Babylon, about 600 years before Jesus Christ. And he was seeing the future, right through Jesus' time, way into the future. So these are the 2 visions that we are talking about today. The overlap. Daniel envisioned pagan Rome. Pagan Rome, or the 4th terrible beast. Remember? The beast. First beast was the lion, then the bear, then the leopard, then this terrible beast. And that came up around 100 BC, 100 years before Christ. This beast was ruling the civilized world of that time when Jesus came into play. They were ruling till about 400 AD. This beast, the fourth beast, or the terrible beast that Daniel was envisioning. John, on the other hand, described a beast, 7 lion heads, body of a leopard, and the beast, and the bear's feet. So John here was looking at visions that comprise a composite of the lion, bear, leopard, and terrible beast. So the beast that John is envisioning, all these beasts have all gone past. They are past, in the past. They've already expired. But John is seeing another beast way ahead, which has the characteristics of all these beasts here. The lion, the bear, the leopard, and the terrible beast. So these are how these two visions can be seen in order to understand them. So the beast that John is now envisioning is the beast that he is now envisioning is a composite beast which comprises of all the characteristics of all these past kingdoms. The Babylonian kingdom, the Medo-Persian kingdom, the Greek, and the Roman. This new beast is a composite of all those. When John came onto the scene, all the 4 beasts of Daniel had expired. However, the horn that Daniel saw and was focusing, remember Daniel was seeing that 10 horns and then 1 little horn came up. That Daniel saw was focusing on was beginning to reign. So that beast that Daniel saw here, right here, when that came out here in 100 AD and had 10 horns, and that the 11th horn came up and uprooted the 3. That horn is now beginning its reign in this era, John's time. After John's time, John was now looking at that beast. Let's move on. So the little horn, from the little horn to the composite beast. So this is the horns that Daniel, way back in 600 BC, was envisioning. He saw that little horn come out, and that little horn had eyes like a man and mouth like the mouth that speak great things. There it is. When it came out, what happened? It uprooted 3 other horns, those 3 there. So that was Daniel's vision of the 4th beast, Rome, that it came out of Rome. The 4th beast was Rome. If we go back here, 1st beast, 2nd beast, 3rd beast, 4th beast, that was Rome. And out of Rome came that little horn. That little horn came out of Rome during the Roman era. So now he's watching that time, part of history, and then he sees this vision, that composite beast, leopard, lion, bear, and it had 10 horns. Now this is a different set of 10 horns, not the same horns here, different set. So this is the beast that we are talking about now. Revelation 13, it says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw the beast rise up out of the sea." If it came out of the sea, it means it came out of a populated area. And having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. Verse 2 says, And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority. So this power, this little horn, now is seen now as this composite beast. Who gave it his power? The dragon himself. It says, and the dragon gave this beast, gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Remember, this came out of the Roman Empire. This little beast, which had the eyes of a man and spoke great words. And Revelation 13:6 says, 7 it says, And it was given, this beast, it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. So you see, this new beast has been given the power to make war with the saints and to overcome them. Who are the saints? The people of God. Those who are keeping the truth. This power, this beast is going to come after you if you plan on keeping the truth. And so what is the significance of the 7 heads? That beast that we saw had 7 heads. Revelation 17:9. This verse is just to help us really identify who this beast is. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads of that beast are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. What's a woman in Bible prophecy? It's a church. And this church sits on 7 hills. And we know in history, it says that Rome is called the city of 7 hills. The city of 7 hills is Rome. And who is sitting on that city of 7 hills? A woman, a church. So if you Google the city of 7 hills, you'll have lots of other cities around the world that are built on 7 hills as well, just like Rome. But none of them have a woman sitting on it, have a church, unlike the one in Rome. The one in Rome has this church, the Roman Catholic Church, headquarters, sitting right there. And there are 7 kings. That's another prophecy which we will one day try to unravel. And there are 7 kings, 5 have fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Another very powerful prophecy which helps us identify who this beast is. But we'll do that at another time. This is something about this beast. Here is no mystical or allegorical language, but an ambiguous statement in plain words. The woman in that great city, there is no justification for seeking some other hidden meaning. Yet books have been written and sermons preached, insisting that Mystery Babylon is the United States. That is clearly not the case, for the United States is a country, not a city. One might justifiably refer to the United States as Sodom, considering the honor now given to homosexuals. But it is definitely not a Babylon, not the Babylon that John sees in his vision. The woman is a city Is that correct? No, the woman is a church. You see, I brought this up just to show us that if we are not discerning the truth, we will be misled by information like this on the internet. So this is some of the things that we should be aware of. We should be able to discern the error. If we move on, lately, Pope John Paul, he apologized. Listen to what he said, or what is written about his apology. In an apparent reference to the jailing, the torture, the burning alive of individuals such as outspoken scientists, people perceived to be heretics, natural healers, midwives, and others, and to the war of extermination committed by the Church against the Cathars, Knight Templars, and other breakaway Christian groups. The Pope referred to the use of violence that some have committed in the service of the truth. The report refers to intolerance and even the use of force in the service of the truth. It also discusses the past, lack of discernment by many Christians in situations where basic human rights were violated. Some might think that the church's use of torture on prisoners and the subsequent burning them alive and genocide against entire religious groups went well before simple violence and the lack of appreciation of human rights. So the church has admitted to all this, that it took part in this during the Dark Ages, 538 AD to 1798. Pope John Paul himself apologized to the whole world, especially to the Christians of that time, because of what the church did to them. They burned them alive at the stakes. It's well recorded in history. So you see, that prophecy, it says, he was given the power to fight against the saints. The church had already fulfilled that prophecy. God had already seen way back from John's time that this beast will go against the saints, his saints. And he had already foretold to us about that event. Rome admits, in its admission to such atrocities, we can safely confirm that the Church of Rome is truly the prophesied beast of Daniel and Revelation. It is the woman seated on the scarlet-colored beast of Revelation 7. It surely is the one prophesied in Daniel that changed laws and times. So it is the beast that was prophesied that we read in the past verses from Daniel and Rome, Daniel and John, Revelation. It is also that woman that we read about in Revelation 17, seated on the beast, the scarlet-colored beast. And it is surely the one prophesied in Daniel that changed laws and times. Which law did it change? The second law, eliminated altogether, and the fourth law of the Sabbath, which was changed from the seventh to the first day. So these are things that, facts that we gather to identify who that beast really is. In a recent Catholic Church newsletter, it stated, this is what Catholics admit in St. Catherine Catholic Church Sentinel, Algonac, Michigan, in 1995, just lately, not too far off. In a recent Catholic Church newsletter, it stated, perhaps the most revolutionary change that the Church ever did happened in the first century. Actually, it happened in the 4th century. The holy day, the Sabbath, was changed from Saturday to Sunday. From Saturday to Sunday. And who did that change? It was Emperor Constantine in 321 AD. That's what the year that this article is referring to. The day of the Lord, now it calls it the day of the Lord, or Dies Domini, was chosen not from any direction noted in the scriptures, but from the church's sense of its own power. The church had its own power, which says, we will change the day. People who think that the scriptures should be the sole authority should logically become Seventh-day Adventists and keep Saturday holy. That's what the church is saying. Protestantism and Catholicism act in concert. Protestantism, who are the Protestants? Those that protested out of the Catholic Church. This started in 1517 when Martin Luther penned his thesis, 95 or 98 thesis on the wall, the door of the church in Wittenberg in Germany, and he challenged the Roman Church. So he started the Protestant movement. They started protesting out of the Catholic Church. Protestantism shall give the hand of fellowship to the Roman power. Then there will be a law against the Sabbath of God's creation. And then it is that God will do his strange work in this earth. In the volume 7 of a Bible commentary written in 1886. They've already told us that Protestantism, those who protested out of the Catholic Church, will now shake the Roman Church's hand again and come back and work together. How the Roman Church can clear herself from the charge of idolatry, we cannot see. And this is the religion which Protestants are beginning to look upon with so much favor. You just look on the TV. All those preachers on TV, they are Protestant preachers. But they exalt the Pope. Anything to do with the Pope, they think it's from God. The adoption of liberal ideas on its part will bring it where it can clasp the hand of Catholicism. Liberalism, that's what is taught in Christianity of today. Universities all over the world, they teach liberalism. They open up your mind to other things and liberalize. So today the world is being affected by this doctrine of liberalism. The professed Protestant world will form a confederacy with the man of sin, and the church and the world will be in corrupt harmony. Romanism, in Great Controversy, page 616. In the old world, and apostate Protestantism in the new will pursue similar course towards those who honor all the divine precepts. So it will come a time, as prophesied in the book Great Controversy, that Protestantism, the same people who protested out of Catholicism, and the old Roman religion, which is the Roman Catholic Church, both these people will pursue a similar course towards those who want to stand up for the truth. Protestantism is Protestant no more. They are not protesting, they are working together with the Roman Church of today through the ecumenical movement, through the World Council of Churches, through all these organizations. that bring the churches together. If your church is in one of these organizations, get out of that church, because they are the ones who are coming back to the mother church. They are shaking that hand across to the Roman Catholic Church. And what will happen? They will pursue a similar course towards all those who honor the divine precepts, all those who want to keep God's law. Protestantism and Catholicism will be after you. Roman Catholic Church codes. These are some of the codes. In respecting religious liberty and the common good of all, Christians should seek recognition of Sunday and the Church's holy days as legal holidays. You can find that in Catechism of the Catholic Church. In this other code, the North American Orthodox Catholic, it says, recovering the theological significance of Sunday is fundamental to rebalancing our lives. We strongly urge both clergy and laity to work cooperatively within their communities to stress the importance of Sunday. So there's work going on in our communities for this, the exaltation of the Sunday against God's seventh-day Sabbath. Roman Catholic Church codes continued in John Paul II Dies Domini in 1998. Therefore, also in the particular circumstances of our own time, Christians will naturally strive to ensure that civil legislation respects their duty to keep Sunday holy. Civil legislation. So it's going into the laws of the land. That's why they're pushing this Sunday issue to make it the laws of the land. Civil legislation. The other code, the Synod Fathers reaffirmed the importance of the Sunday obligation for all the faithful, viewing it as a wellspring of authentic freedom. Participating in the Sunday liturgical assembly with all our brothers and sisters with whom we form one body in Jesus Christ is demanded by our Christian conscience, and at the same time it forms that conscience. Finally, it is particularly urgent nowadays to remember that the day of the Lord is also a day of rest from work. It is greatly to be hoped that this fact will also be recognized by civil society. The government, the state should recognize this day. That's found in the Sacramentum Caritatis Post-Synod. So those documents are there as proof that the Catholic Church is pushing hard. Not only them, together with the Protestant movement, the Sunday worshippers, to push this Sunday to make it a law, civil legislation. Let's just quickly go back to that revamped beast. So that beast of Revelation 13 had all those characteristics of the lion, the bear, and the leopard. Those old beasts that existed in Babylon, Medo-Persia. This revamped beast needs to be accepted by the world. So it came up with a different Revelation 17:4 says, and the woman, first of all, that woman will be attractive. Seated on the beast was arrayed in purple and scarlet color. Two very important colors, very attractive. Purple and scarlet. And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. It's decked with riches. having a golden cup in her hand full of abomination and filthiness of her fornication. So see this woman, see the beast. The woman is now seated on a beast that has been revamped. It still has that 10 heads, and it still, 7 heads, and it still has that 10 horns. So it's the same beast, but it has been revamped. All the old beasts have been taken away. It's replaced with a scarlet colored beast. That's the church of today. Scarlet and purple. And the woman was arrayed with purple and scarlet color. Revelation 17:4, the verse we just read. This is what you see every day on TV. And there's something big going on in the Catholic Church. These are the colors that you see. See the second picture. That's the woman. Scarlet, purple and scarlet. That's the public who follow this woman. It's all in black, right there. The whole world is following this same beast that persecuted the saints. Today, we have workers' rights movement. See how Sunday is being brought in through this workers' rights. Sunday is a day of rest for all workers. That's what Pope Benedict XVI said. Sunday is a day of rest for all workers. In recognition of Sunday rest, the European bishops, the Commission of the Bishops' Conference of the European Community have reviewed their support of the European Pillar of Social Rights, a European Union document on labor, education, and other social issues. COMECE proposes to incorporate decent working hours and the right to a common weekly day of rest. The Bishops' Commission stated, this is what the bishops said in support of those people. This day should be, in principle, the Sunday. So they say there should be a day of rest. The bishops are saying it should be Sunday, which is recognized by tradition and custom in most of the member states or regions. So Sunday has already been there. So all they have to do is to direct this day of rest to be Sunday. That's where we will end today, and I hope that we've seen that the push for this Sunday worship is not only coming from the Catholic Church, which is its author. It's also coming from Protestant churches, which worship on Sunday. These same people are the ones that Catholic Church told in last week's lesson, if you remember correctly. They said, if you want to follow the Bible strictly, you should worship on the seventh day. This day is a mark of our authority, the church. Is a mark of our authority. If you worship on this day, you are showing your allegiance to the Pope, not to God. That's next week. We will talk about the mark of the beast. How does this link up with the mark of the beast? We know it's been talked about everywhere about 666. Is it really the mark of the beast? We will find today that they say that's our mark of authority. While God says the seventh day Sabbath is a sign between me and my people for generations till the end. That's where we will end. And we'll ask God for His blessings with the new knowledge that we've acquired today. Let us pray.